In this video, I am going to demonstrate how you can transfer ownership of a form in Microsoft Forms. Let's go ahead and let's get started. All right, now when you author a forms in Microsoft Forms from the web app, as you can see here on my screen, you are actually setting yourself as the owner of that form. Now, at any point, you can tell who the owner of a form is by clicking into the screen and looking at the name that is featured on this form. Now you can see here this vehicle inspection form has my name, and that means that I am the owner of this form. Now, if I click into this form and I wanted to share it with my colleagues so that they can perhaps make edits to it or so that they can see the responses, what you typically might do is click into the three dots, which is the More Options button here, and you might click on this menu option that says Collaborate or Duplicate. From here, you can click on the Share link to collaborate and view results, and if you change this drop-down, anyone with an Office 365 account, and you select specific people, here you can add individuals. Now, I'll go ahead and I'll select my colleague Diego. And if I click on this option here, you can see who has access to the form. Now you'll see here that it cites that I am the owner of this form and my colleague Diego has the ability to view and edit the form. So doing this is not going to make Diego an owner of the form. Now, if I truly want to share ownership of this form such that if I were to leave the company, this form would continue to exist, what I would need to do is click back onto the form's main screen, find the form that I want to transfer ownership over, click on the More Options button here, and click on this option that says Move to a Group. Now, what this is going to show you is a list of all of the Microsoft 365 groups that you are a member of, and that includes Microsoft Teams. Now, this is how you can truly change the ownership of a form from you as an individual, as the author, to multiple people. Now, what I will do is I will go ahead and select this maintenance team here, and I will click on the Move button. And now you can see here that the vehicle inspection form no longer cites my name, but rather it cites the maintenance group. Now, in my case, what this means is that all of the individuals who are a member of the maintenance team are now co-owners of this form. Now you can see I've gone back into the Manage Access screen, and again, here you can even see the name of the group listed as the owner. Now, there's a couple notable things when you transfer ownership from an individual to a group like I just demonstrated. Now, what I've done is I've brought up Microsoft Teams and I've brought up my form side by side. Now, in this form, I have an attachment type question, and you can see here that I've uploaded an attachment. Now, before I submit this form, I'm going to quickly click into the Files tab of this maintenance team that I transferred this form to. You can see here there are no files. Now I'm going to go ahead and click Submit. You can see here that my form has been submitted. Now if I click on the Documents tab here, you can see that this new folder called Apps has been added. If I click on this, you can see that there's now a Microsoft Forms folder. You can see here that there's also a subfolder that matches the name of my Microsoft form. And when I clicked into that folder, you can see here that the attachment question is now featured here as a folder. And you can see here that attachment that I just uploaded in that Microsoft form that I submitted. And so transferring ownership of a form from an individual to a group is going to store attachments in attachment type questions if you have them in your form in the actual SharePoint site that backends that group or that Microsoft team. Now you can see here that I've brought up the View Results page of my Microsoft Forms. And you'll notice here this option that says Open Results in Excel. This feature was recently added and it allows you to establish a connection between an Excel sheet and a Microsoft Forms so that that sheet will automatically update as new responses are submitted. Now, once you transfer ownership of a form to a group and you click this button, what it is going to do is it will create an Excel file with that connection, and it will actually store that file in the SharePoint Online site that backends that Microsoft team. Now I'll go ahead and click on my Documents tab here, and you can see here that this Excel file called Vehicle Inspection Form has been added. And if I click on this, this is going to be that live Excel file that has that connection established so that all of the members of this team or the group will be able to see the updated responses in real time. Now, when you author a Microsoft form and you use this feature, it will create this file, but it will store the file in the Microsoft OneDrive account of the form author. There's also a couple of important considerations when transferring ownership of a form. Now, the first is you can only transfer ownership of a form from an individual to a group, but you cannot do it the other way around. You can't take a form that has been transferred to a group or even created in a group and transfer ownership back to an individual. Now, the next important consideration is that you can only transfer ownership of a form if you are the original owner of that form. You cannot transfer ownership of a form that has been shared with you. And the most important consideration is that if an individual authored a form and is no longer in your organization, ownership of that form can only be transferred by your Microsoft 365 administrator within 30 days of their account being deactivated. So that's it. In this video, I demonstrated how you can transfer ownership of a Microsoft Forms from an individual to a group. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a like, drop a comment below, and most importantly, be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of my new content. I'm Iacobellis. I'll see you in the next video.